Chairman.
Call the member, Barbara Stewart.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Firstly, can I say congratulations, Mr Chair, on your appointment to this very important role in our Parliament. And we have to say congratulations to the other speakers as well, because we look forward to working with you all. I'm pleased to take a call on behalf of New Zealand First and ensure that New Zealanders know that we are definitely opposed to this bill, just as they are, and that we haven't heard anything in any part of this debate which will make us change our mind. The title of the bill gives us an indication of the serious matters that are actually covered by the bill, changing workplace conditions as they are known today. It's definitely not about improving employee relations. Now, last week we were asked to provide some novelty when we were talking about this bill. So in the interest of providing this novelty, we put our thinking caps on and decided to come up with some different titles. The first one that we thought is perhaps Back to the Past Amendment Bill. The fact that tea breaks and lunch breaks can be totally negotiated away is ludicrous. Back to the early 1900s we return, when these breaks weren't considered necessary at all. Perhaps we could also call it the Stamp on Health and Safety Bill. In the last Parliament, we passed a lot of bills focused on ensuring worker safety was at the focus of all workplaces. But this bill, we believe, is actually putting health and safety at risk. All workers, regardless of their job, need a break. After a break, productivity is usually higher, the focus of the workers is higher, and of course, the potential for accidents is a little less. But this legislation has got the potential to erode all the previous legislation that we've put through in this area. Because the bottom line is that all workers have got the right to return home safely at the end of their workday. We know on this side of the House that many of the workers today are working more than one job to try and make ends meet. And of course, how easy to negotiate away your health and your lunch breaks, your tea breaks, to ensure that you just get that little bit more money. They'll negotiate away this basic right, and we'll have challenges. We could also call it the Anti-Worker Amendment Bill. We all know that the employment relationship's not a level playing field, despite the government telling us that it is. If you're a young worker, and there are numerous other groups as well, not many of those groups have got the capacity or the capability of negotiating with the employer. It's not a level playing field. And guess what? Many of the workers don't want to because they fear for their jobs. We know that employment should be a collaborative relationship, but despite the hype, jobs aren't numerous in most regions throughout New Zealand. I know I look in my region, in the Waikato, there's not a lot of jobs going there. Everybody wants to keep their job that they've got. So of course, they'll negotiate away tea breaks, lunch breaks, anything to ensure that they retain their job. We could also call it the Employment Relations minus Common Sense Bill. Common sense is actually missing from this piece of legislation. There has been absolutely no call for employers or employees for this bill or any of the criteria that are in it. It hasn't been a result of a gap that's been identified in the workplaces. Employees and employers were working together, so why change what's actually been working quite well? Not common sense. We believe that this bill's got the potential to create a very hostile work environment with a decrease in productivity. And the fact that it's 4 months after the Act comes into force really raises some questions for us. So we believe that the title of this bill is not right. It does need to be reviewed, and we'd like to see some other titles come up. It is not for workers. Thank you.
I call Jamie Lee Ross.
I move that the question be now put.
No. I call Kelvin Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.